Well. Imagine working at home, you remote, you being a productive employee, you driving great impact for your businesses. Then an announcement comes out and you feel like your freedoms have been taken. Your work life balance is about to be impacted drastically. And you don't know what to do. You have a family, or maybe you just have a lifestyle that you are accustomed to, and it is about to turn your world upside down as it relates to your 9 to 5. Well, Amazon just dropped a bombshell on their employees, and they're going to have to get back into the office the top of the year, January 2025, for 5 days. That's a lot, especially being in this hybrid environment. And so I'm going to cover this article, bring it to you live, we'll record it, and we're going to get into it. And maybe we're going to talk about what you can do about it as well. Let's get into it. Amazon tells employees to return to the office 5 days a week. It's a tough pill to swallow. So the key points that we're going to cover today: Amazon CEO Andy Jassy is instructing corporate staffers to work from the office 5 days a week. Previously, Amazon required employees to be in the office at least 3 days a week. And then the third point is Amazon is also flattening its corporate structure by having fewer managers in each organization. Looks like they're trying to cut the fat guys and gals. So I'm gonna scroll down. I already looked at some of this. I'm gonna scroll down and bury some of this. But some of the things that I do want to point out is, as you all know, that's the CEO, or not know. So just so you know that. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy. Okay, so let's scroll down. I just want to call out a couple things here. Let's see. We're going to get to, but I really want to get to the memo part, and then we'll comment from there. Okay. All right. So here's the memo. Here's a full memo from Amazon CEO Andy Jassy. So let's hear directly from the CEO. Hey team, I wanted to send a note on a couple changes we're making to further strengthen our culture and teams. First, for perspective, I feel good about the progress we're making together. Stores, AWS, cloud services, and advertising continue to grow on a very large basis. That's a great thing for them, for the company. Prime Videos, as you all may know, continues to expand, or not, no. And new investment areas like Gen AI, Cooper, I think I'm saying that right, healthcare, and several others are evolving nicely. And at the same time, we're growing and inventing. We're continuing to make progress in our cost structure, operating margins, which isn't easy to do. Overall, I like the direction in which we're heading and appreciate the hard work and ingenuity of our teams globally. Okay. CEO is doing what CEOs do. You got to acknowledge your people and their hard work. When I think about my time at Amazon, I never imagined I'd be at the company for 27 years. That is a long time. My plan, which my wife and I agreed to on a bar napkin in 97, was to be here a few years and move back to New York City. Part of why I've stayed has been the unprecedented growth. So before, when he was around, when this CEO was around, the annual revenue was 15 million before he joined, the year before he joined, and then now 27 years later, 600 billion, and it is 2024. If you look at the bottom right of the calendar, you'll see the clock there. We're in 2024. So the perpetual hunger to invent, the obsession with making customers' lives easier and better every day, and the associated opportunities these priorities present. But the biggest reason I'm still here is our culture. Being so customer focused is an inspiring part of it, but it's also the people we work with, the way we collaborate and invent when we're at our best, our long term perspective, the ownership I've always felt at every level I've worked. It looks like he started at level 5. The speed which we make decisions and move, and the lack of bureaucracy and politics. Though that bureaucracy and politics when you're working in corporate, it's a thing, but it's a pain, to be honest with you. It's a pain in the butt, but it is a part of it. It comes with the territory. Our culture is unique and has been one of the most critical parts of our success in our first 29 years. It depends on who you ask. But keeping your culture strong is not a birthright. I agree with that. You have to work at it all the time. That's a fact because it's people. It's people make up the culture. The leadership set the tone. When you consider the breadth of our businesses, their associated growth rates, the innovated innovation required across each of them, and the number of people we've hired over the last 6 to 8 years has been crazy. It was crazy hiring. To pursue those endeavors is pretty unusual and will stretch even the strongest of cultures. Strengthening our cultures remain a top priority for the S team and me. We want to operate like the world's largest startup. That means having a passion for constantly inventing for customers, strong urgency, high ownership, fast decision making, scrappiness, frugality. You talking my language. Deeply connected collaboration. You need to be joined at the hip with your teammates when inventing and solving hard problems. I agree with that. Yes and no. And shared commitment to each other. Two areas that the S team and I have been thinking about. Here we go. Now this is where we want to pay. Let's pay attention about they've been thinking about over the last several months. One, do we have the right org structure to drive the level of ownership and speed we desire? Two, are we set up to invent, collaborate, and be connected enough to each other, meaning the culture, to deliver the absolute best for customers and the business that we can? We think we can be better on both. So that's the stance there. That's what they've been talking about. On the first topic, we've always sought to hire very smart, high judgment, inventive, delivery focused, and missionary teammates. And we have always wanted the people doing the actual detailed work to have high ownership. As we have grown our teams as quickly and substantially as we have in the last many years, we have understandably added a lot of managers in the process. We have also added more layers than we have before. It's created artifacts that we'd like to change. Pre-meetings for the pre-meeting, yeah, that's a pain in the butt. Yeah, that's tough. For the decision meetings, yeah, the meeting to the meeting, as they say. If you've been a part of corporate, you know, you know. If you know, you know. A longer line of managers feeling like they need to review a topic before it moves forward. Owners of initiatives feeling less like they should make recommendation because the decision will be made somewhere else. Yep, totally understand that. It's basically you're saying like, well, my thoughts and my opinions don't matter because it's going to be made somewhere else anyway. Yep. Most decisions we make are two-way doors, and as such, we want more of our teammates feeling like they can move fast without unnecessary processing, meetings, mechanism, and layers. They cutting the fat, basically, and wasting time, wasting valuable time. So I like the thought, the ideal of that. Um, Addressing this. So we're asking each team organization to increase the ratio of individual contributors. Okay, so they're increasing the ratio of individual contributors to managers by at least 15% by the end of Q1 2025. Unless not understanding this the right way, they're about to let go of some managers or eliminate some roles. Let's see what happens. Having fewer managers, yep, will remove layers and flatten organizations more than they are today. If we do this work well, it will increase our teammates' ability to move fast, clarify, and invigorate their sense of ownership, drive decision making closer to the front lines where it is most impacts customers and the business, of course. Decreased bureaucracy and strengthen our organization's ability to make customers' lives better and easier every day. All right, I hear you. We will do this thoughtfully, and our PX team will work closely with our leaders to evolve our organization to accomplish those goals over the next few months. So essentially, folks are going to be getting tapped. Hey, your job is about to be eliminated. Hey, I don't know if they have an opportunity to go to become an individual contributor, but we'll see. So some changes, some cuts are going to be had. It might not hit main media as much, but there's going to definitely be some trimming strategically. By the way, I've created a bureaucracy mailbox for an example. Any of you see where we might have bureaucracy unnecessary process that crept in, we can root it out. To be clear, companies need process to run effectively, and processes do not equal bureaucracy. Yeah, I agree. But unnecessarily an excessive process or rules should be called out and extinguished. I will read these emails and action them accordingly. Yeah, okay. It's like they just continue to make adjustments. Sounds like. All right. So that was the first point. So the second point, to address the second issue, all the way at the top if you're looking, to address the second issue of being better, set up to invent, collaborate, and be connected enough to each other and our culture to deliver the absolute best for the customers and the business. We've decided that we're going to return to the office the way we were before the onset of COVID. Oh, so it said we're going. So like some folks are saying in the campaign trails right now, we're not going back. Well, Amazon said we're going back. It's not a political show, just having some fun here. But Amazon, the CEO of Amazon said we're going back. And what does going back look like? Going back before the onset of COVID, as it says here. We look over the last 5 years, we continue to believe that the advantages of being together in the office are significant. I previously explained these benefits February 2023, but in summary, we've observed that it's easy for our teammates to learn, model practice, and strengthen our culture, collaborating, brainstorming, inventing our simpler and more effective. Teaching and learning from one another are more seamless, and teams tend to be better connected to one another. If anything, the last 15 months we've been back in the office at least 3 days a week has strengthened our conviction about the benefits. Before the pandemic, not everybody was in office 5 days a week, every week. If you or your child were sick, if you had some sort of house emergency, if you were on the road seeing customers or partners, if you needed a day or two to finish coding in a more isolated environment, people worked remotely. This was understood and will be moving forward as well. But before the pandemic, it was not a given that folks could work remotely 2 days a week. And that will also be true moving forward. Our expectation that people will be in the office outside of extenuating circumstances like the ones mentioned above. Or if you already have a remote work exception approved through your S team leader, I wonder what that will entail. How do you get that? Do you have to be a high performer? Do you have to be on a specific team? Are you dispersed globally, or are you dispersed across the country and none of your team is in your local area? And if that's the case, would you actually still have to go into the office? I'm curious about that. What does this look like? We'll see. We are also going to bring back assigned desk arrangements. That's just the approach. So assigned desks in the U.S. headquarters for locations with the agile arrangements before the pandemic, like Europe. Basically, you just flexing in. You just come and sit wherever what's available, and you pick up. I've done that before. Been a part of a company that done that. We understand that some of our teammates may have set up their personal lives in such a way that requiring the office consistently 5 days per week will require some adjustments. They're gonna find another job. To help ensure a smooth transition, we're going to make this new expectation active on January the 2nd, right, 2025, right after the New Year's. Okay. See if there's anything else we want to cover here. Okay. Leaders doing what leaders do. That's what you do. As you're concluding your message, you always thank your leadership team and support, naturally, in advance for the work that they're going to do for the upcoming months. Basically, the work is getting people back in that office and reassigning folks or letting folks go because their role has just simply been eliminated. So that's the work that they're talking about, and the hard work around that. I'm just making it simple for folks for my listeners to understand what's going on. It's a little bit more nuanced than that, but I just want to give it to you straight. With the company side, having the right culture at Amazon is something I don't take for granted. I continue to believe that we are all here because we want to make a difference in customer lives, invent on their behalf, and more quickly to solve their problem. I'm optimistic that these changes will better help us accomplish these goals while strengthening our culture and the effectiveness of our teams. Thanks, Andy. Okay, that's a lot there. What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Ken? For me, if you're at Amazon and it's going to be tough for you. You have some decisions to make. It's no You have decisions to make. Are you going to stay with the company? Are you going to leave the company? I am of the opinion, and I'm just have this is my opinion. I'm not messing up my bag. If you want me to be in that office 5 days a week, I'm gonna be in that office 5 days a week. I'm going to be in that office 5 days a week. I'll be honest with you. Being I, any opportunity that I take, I always take it with the understanding that there could be change in the organization. I have to make a decision. Am I going to be okay with it or am I not? And but that's me. And so I already usually have some type of contingency plan already lined up, or at least a thought of how I'm going to navigate it. So for me, if I have to go back to the office, I'm going back to the office. And if it doesn't work for me, I'll find something else. But I want to open it up to the audience, the listeners, or I'm thinking out loud on you all's behalf, or just sharing some of the sentiments I've heard, either heard people having conversations, me looking at the chats and various things. People people have mixed feelings about it. People are pissed off. People are upset. And I will tell you, when these large Fortune 500 companies, these leaders of industries make these type of decisions, sometimes they are on the front end of what's to come at other organizations. So that's the thing that I want to point out here. Hey, my thing about it is let's make our money. Let's get this six figures. Let's make sure we're adding value to these companies. Let's And a part of that is making a pivot. Sometimes the organization changes, they make changes, and you have to decide for you Inc. For me, Barney Inc. Your household, is this in alignment with what's important for your household and your family business? And if it does, keep going. And if it doesn't, you got some changes to make. Don't rage quit. I would say start thinking about your exit plan. You have some time. It's September 21st. I know the market out there, it can be a challenge, but it's still possible with the folks that make a plan and execute on that plan. So people are still getting jobs. You just have to be very intentional about what you're doing and what we were able to do in the past. You may have to take some additional steps to separate yourself from the crowded marketplace. But there you have it. Amazon said you're getting back in that office 5 days a week. Hope you appreciated this article review and my commentary added on to it. If you enjoy this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next video, peace.